What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the next video of our little cut/bulk series.
Pretty good. Wasn't perfect, but we don't expect week ones to ever be perfect. It's a baseline. So basically establishing a routine a little bit better, figuring out where the numbers are landing, because I was tracking very sporadically, so it wasn't something where I knew exactly what I was going to eat every single day. So I got that down pretty close. My routine has been highlighted as what I need to improve, and that's something we'll kind of walk through, let our check-ins kind of show. But eye-opening, good baseline.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely felt good to get a full week under my belt. I feel like for so long I was trying to do that, like when I was in between goals and just trying to be consistent, but it was such a struggle. So clearly identifying, my why, what my goals are right now helped so much. And I did take an untracked meal yesterday. We went on a little date. So that's my goal each week, is to have one untracked meal that I can estimate and just enjoy a little bit. But there were definitely some struggles this week. So I think what we'll do is we'll walk you guys through our weekly check-in questions. So every day we went and submitted our daily check-ins to our portal. And that alone was super eye-opening, but also held me so accountable. And it was something I obviously was expecting it because it's what our clients do, but to actually go through and do it ourselves helped so much. We haven't done that before. So
no, we've done like test data for when we were playing around with the portal, and this is something we never really dove into. And clients always asked when they offboarded, hey, do we still have access to the portal? And that's something we never even really thought of, as far as, well, you don't have a coach, so why would you stay in the portal? So this kind of became a light bulb moment today, where we're actually going to upgrade the Mindful Menu Collective to give you access to your own private portal. So it's going to be the same kind of setup as what our one-to-one clients use, but just seeing the benefit of us using it without coaches, just to hold ourselves accountable to see what that broader spectrum looks like. So we'll show you guys on the screen here, but basically you enter your daily check-in. So at the end of each day, you're going to log calories, macros, water intake, fiber intake, morning body weight, sodium, fiber levels. You place a rating in the biofeedback, you place a rating on sleep. You actually write down how much you slept. There's a habit checker on there, and you answer some questions. So you see that day-to-day data, which is just the micro view, obviously. We're figuring out how we're doing on as far as daily consistency on a day-to-day basis. At the bottom, it averages everything out for us, so we can see our overall averages for the week as far as calories, macros, the biofeedback that we mentioned. So it's awesome to show you that one day doesn't make or break your entire week, but it's also going to show you that you're not going to be very close if you have a few days that are on point and then a few days that are not on point, and that's your cycle. So this gives you that bigger picture, that macro view of your macros, but it's just super cool. It's an awesome tool that we realize now.
It just holds you accountable.
Holds you accountable, and you can use that for your own benefit without a one-to-one coach. So.
Yeah, so if you kind of have always wished you could work with us, or maybe you're a past client checking in and you wish you could still use the portal, that will be something we will be offering very, very soon.
That'll be live for this next month. So we update every 15th of every month, on the 15th of every month, for the Movement Collective and the Menu Collective. So with this month, we're now going to be adding clients to the MMC portal for the Mindful Menu Collective.
So it will be fully self-coached. To clarify, there is no coach with that, but I think you guys will really love using it. So we're really excited to be able to offer that to you, and glad that we kind of went through this to just show you what we do with our clients. Well,
while we're talking about it, we'll dive in a little bit. So the Mindful Menu Collective right now, it's a once-a-month ebook upload. So we work with Jasmine. She's awesome. She's
at Jazzy Things on Instagram. Some of you might know her.
She's awesome. So there's some awesome recipes in there. Clients have been loving that. So right now you download that. You get that right off our website when you sign up. What we're going to do is move that into the portal. So basically you're going to have some additional resources. There's a resource library. I'm not sure how much we're going to build out in the videos, but we're going to put up some cool little nutrition things, as far as macro cheat sheets, things like that, how to build your own meal plan. Just some really accessible tools for you guys. So that'll be in your portal along with the ebook. Once a month we're going to update that for you, so that'll be the same flow. It's just going to be through the portal, and then you'll have access to these check-ins. So that's what that's going to look like starting October 15th.
Yeah, so get excited. But why don't we walk through how our weeks went, kind of show them the weekly check-in portion of the portal and how we answered those questions to kind of explain how, you know, what we struggled with, how well we did this week, and all of that. So do you want to go first?
Morning weight, my average came in at 200.6. I was never more than 201. I was never less than 200.2. So I don't tend to fluctuate too much. Just naturally, I just don't. And I started off the last video, I said 196.8. I think the scale was fluctuating because it actually settled in a lot closer to 201 pounds. So that's where I came in at for morning weight. Calories, my goal is 3,522. I came in at 3,566. Protein came in at 208. Carbs, 433 is the goal. 428 was my average. Fats, 110 was my goal. 115 was my average. Fiber, I trickled down toward the end of the week. I did not do great. So I started off 55 and 60, hovering in that range. The last couple days have been under 50, which I'm not happy about. Water is kind of all over the place, so I have to pay attention to that. I was as high as 216, as low as a gallon. That's ounces. Caffeine, I typically do a black tea in the morning, or if I'm not training, I'll make that a green tea. If I am training, I'll typically do black tea first thing in the morning, and then before my lift, I'll do a green tea. So about 80 milligrams in the black tea, 50 in the green tea. Cardio, so we laid out cardio goals. I sucked this week. I did 5 minutes on the bike. I did not stick to that at all, but my steps have been good. So I've been taking walks, and I don't think we hiked this week, but
we didn't hike this week.
Plenty of movement with Kai and doing stuff. So my goal there was 7,000 steps a day. Sleep hours, minutes, so 7 hours, 30 minutes. Quality, around a 6. So I had some 6s, mostly 6s, and I had some 7s. I have not been sleeping through the night. And I'm kind of going to touch on this when we go through the check-in, but my sleep routine sucks. It's garbage right now. So that's my area of opportunity for improvement. Soreness. I've been crushing it with volume, and weights have been going up, so it comes up quite a bit and it drops back down quite a bit. So it's okay to get sore. It's okay if you're not getting sore after your workout. But it's okay to get sore. We just want to see that recovery rate come back down pretty quickly, which it did. So I spiked up. My average was about 3 out of 10 this week. So for the scales we're going to do in biofeedback, it's 0 is low, 10 is high. Energy was around a 7. Felt pretty good, just wasn't sleeping well. Hunger was non-existent. Stress was a little bit lower this week, a couple higher days, but averaging around a 3. Mindful minutes, meditation every morning, except I missed one day. That's one of my habits. I missed one. Digestion was regular. Training, I didn't miss any days. And I had one untracked day yesterday. Habits, I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total. So habit 1 is morning meditation. Habit 2 is reading before bed. Or habit 2 is stretching before bed. Habit 3 is reading before bed. So I missed morning meditation once. I missed stretching 3 times. And I missed reading once. So not perfect. These need to be automatic. So when we talk about habits and we talk to our clients about habits, these are daily non-negotiables. So things that aren't, oh, I didn't feel like doing it today, or I felt like doing it today, or it's my goal to do something. A goal is not a habit. A habit is automatic. It's a daily non-negotiable. It has to get done. You want to get it to the point where it is so automatic that you're not even thinking about it. So I have some work to do. Again, that's my routine. We'll get that fixed this week.
Good job. All right, moving into my stuff. So I'll go through the same way that Josh did. Morning weight. So I told you guys in the last video, my starting weight was like 137, 138. And that was just like probably 2 or 3 days that I saw that number. I wasn't weighing in every single day the week before. So my average this week was down to 135, and my highest was 136.4, and my lowest was 134.6. So things happened. This is pretty common, I would say, when you first start a fat loss phase. It's mostly water weight. It's mostly just being, super on point versus me not being on point the weeks prior. So it's not like I lost 3 pounds of fat this week. That did not happen. It's just me. It's the result of me being more consistent, probably consuming a little bit less sodium, calories are controlled, and obviously water intake came down a bit, or my body water came down a bit. My macros are set at 1998 calories, and my average this week was 1814, and we have to factor in that I did have that one untracked meal. So one of these days is going to kind of skew the numbers a bit because it's going to come in super low because I just didn't track the rest of the day, but I did input what I did track and eat. So it was probably slightly higher than that. Protein, I came in at 120.6. My goal is 130. Again, that low day yesterday of having that untracked meal is going to impact that. And then carbs, I hit 173. My goal was 185. And then fats, my goal was 82 and my average was 73. So again, a little bit under, but likely closer to those averages based on that meal.
Are you estimating numbers for that meal afterwards?
No.
So in that situation, what I advise my clients to do is if you're taking an untracked meal, you can estimate it later if you want to, but the whole purpose of that is to kind of not worry about numbers for just a quick period. So for that entire day, you can still track on your own through the app, just to kind of see where the rest of those meals are falling for regularity. But I recommend you leave that blank because for this reason, you should go back later and delete it. The averages are not accurate at all. That wasn't an accurate intake for yesterday, so your averages are not showing what you actually consume. So if you go back and look at your nutrition report, it's not going to reflect those.
Touche. See? Perks of tracking and having someone
coach
here. Sodium was really low all week, honestly, which I probably want that to come up a little bit with all of the cardio that I am doing. So I might look into some kind of electrolyte supplement or figure that out a little bit more. Not a huge deal, but just something I noticed.
Have a beef stick.
Fiber is good. My goal was to hit 35 to 40 grams, so I'm happy with that. I'll probably bump that up a little bit this week. Water intake was definitely not the best. I need to be better at drinking water. My average was 86 ounces per day. I would like to be closer to 100 or closer to a gallon. I just feel better. Coffee, I usually just have my one morning cup of coffee every day, which is 95 milligrams. But we went to brunch yesterday and I had my morning coffee and then I had a double espresso latte, which I just estimated. I don't even know what that would have been.
Two shots of espresso poured over smoked syrup.
It was really good.
On it. I had a sip and I regretted my black tea.
It was awesome. Daily steps were really good this week. I had one day where I did not hit even 8,000, which is like my minimum I would like to hit. I was at 7,500, so I was just kidding. I had 2 days I didn't come close. So my average was 8,500. Still decent, but I can do better. Sleep was decent. 6.5 hours was my average. Most nights were closer to 7. Quality of sleep was really good though. I didn't have as many wake ups. Usually I notice I wake up a lot and I'm restful. My restfulness tracker on my Oura ring is like high throughout the night. Like you could see how many times I woke up. Lately it's been like not at all, so that's been really good. Soreness, I had 2 really sore days after my leg day, but other than that it was nothing. It was, my average was 6. And then energy levels were very good all week. I had one day where my energy was a lot lower, but other than that they've been at an 8 or a 9, which is awesome during a cut phase. Hunger stayed pretty decent. I had probably 3 days, and it was the 3 days that I did cardio where my hunger just was spiked up more, and that's normal. We're going to expect that when I have a day where I have intense cardio. Usually my hunger is going to climb up, and it's really important to stay as adherent as you can to your nutrition on those days, because if you're in a fat loss phase, because that can be an area where a lot of people go wrong, is they do so much cardio and then their hunger comes up and they can't stick to their diet. So that's why you're not seeing progress if you're way overdoing the cardio. Stress levels were up and down a little bit this week. Overall I was at a 4. Mindful minutes, I did 30 minutes every day on my morning walk. Bowel movements, 2s all week. Training days, I only got 2 days in. I'm planning to work out, lift today to get my 3rd day. This week, or just in general, sometimes I'll just kind of, not that I skip it, but I'll put that off to later in the week, because the beginnings of our weeks are usually heavy on work and I get caught up on that. So this week I'm gonna kind of schedule when my training days are gonna be, looking at our schedule and plan those a little bit better. No menstrual cycle this week. One untracked meal yesterday, and then my habits, I missed 1 full day of all 3, and then a couple no's, 3 more no's on top of that, 1 from each section. So lots of room for improvement here, but my nutrition was the most consistent it's been in months, like probably 6 months or more. So that felt really good, and you have to celebrate those small wins.
All right, questions. We ask questions as well, so each week we're going to dive in here. This is basically a weekly overview. So describe 2 things you're grateful for from this week. So I'm grateful for Kai being so much fun. This is a really awesome age, and there's a lot of shit going on right now, and he's my break in the day. He's super fun. He's always making me laugh, and he hasn't cried much aside from getting the shits the last couple of days. His ass is on fire, but
he has some diaper rash that's been unpleasant for him.
Very
Poor
unpleasant,
guy.
but he's a trooper, and he's so much fun right now. I'm also grateful for my health. So I still have bad days and nights, but those bad days are nothing compared to what they used to be. So especially this week, my sleep being off a little bit, I would wake up and it used to feel like I was having a heart attack. I couldn't breathe. It was just nonsense. But my bad days now are I wake up and I have a little bit of tightness in my stomach or in my chest or something. I do some breathing exercises and I go back to sleep. So seeing where I've been and where I am now, it's something I can reflect back on and really appreciate.
My 2 things I'm grateful for this week, I feel guilty that I didn't say Kai now, but he's just like my everyday. I'm grateful for him no matter what. But one, our date that we went on yesterday, it was nice to have time, just me and you, without Kai there or without anybody else there, and be completely alone, because we haven't really had much of that since we moved in here. So that was really nice. And then my other thing was just my consistency to my nutrition. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been able to commit like this, and it felt really, really good, and I felt really proud of myself for being able to commit and see some progress.
Describe a specific struggle you dealt with and either how you overcame it or why you were unable to.
So my main struggle this week was for our untracked day yesterday. I did not hit my habit of tracking the rest of the day ahead of time. I kind of just let the rest of the day coast, and I went back and tracked everything later, which is not something I want to get into. And I think that if I were to have tracked that ahead of time, I would have made some better choices. Not that I ate terrible after that yesterday, but it was more snacky than usual. So that was my biggest struggle. And then also the water intake. I just wasn't as on point with that as I wanted to be. So those are 2 things that I am going to just plan for better in the week ahead.
I struggled big time with sleep, as I kind of alluded to. So I have not overcome that yet, but I'm going to avoid technology before bed and replace that with reading. That's something where I found myself completely glued to my phone, and I'm not even going to say what my screen time was this week because it makes me sick. But it's just something where I'm always on my computer, I'm always on my phone for work. And I actually physically felt the toll of that. It wasn't good. So I'm working on that as a whole, but especially before bed. Cutoff time should be around 8 o'clock.
All right, next question is clarify your why on a deeper level. What are you working so hard to achieve?
For those of you not submerged in coaching or psychology, we're looking for your root cause analysis here. So you take your goal, I want to lose weight, and you ask yourself why about 1,500 times until you get all the way through to the root cause of that. So what you really want to feel, what your real goal is. So for myself, I want to feel confident again. I used to be shredded and I felt great, and it's not that I have to be the most jacked in the room anymore, but I want to be proud of how I look again. I want to feel like I can do anything again. It's been a while since I felt like that. Getting my confidence back to where it used to be will be a very powerful tool with everything we're doing right now. So again, I'm pulling aesthetics into that, but my root cause, my deeper why is I want to be confident again. And it's not that I'm not confident, but I used to not question anything really. If I made a decision, I stood behind that decision. I felt really good about that decision, and I knew I could back that decision up with my actions. It's not that I don't feel those things, but my confidence is not as high as it used to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my why is literally the same thing. I mean, I obviously want to improve my health, and obviously I'm doing a fat loss phase to lose some body fat, but I just want to feel good and boost my confidence. When I feel my best in my body, externally and internally, everything about me is more confident. I'm a more confident mom, wife, everything just kind of flows better. So that's really my why too.
How did you set the tone each day this week?
This is a new question we added, and I really like it because it's something that a lot of our clients weren't even really considering. And for me, my morning routine has been huge. If you guys follow on Instagram, you know I always post about doing something for your future self, starting your day the right way. I lately have been just reading right when I get up. I literally roll out of bed. I set my clothes out the night before, so I'm not waking anybody up usually.
False. That is
usually. And then I get dressed, I wash my face, brush my teeth, and then I just read. And I have my coffee at the same time. That really just it puts me in such a good mental space. One, because I'm like learning something and you know, I'm usually reading a self-help type book, and then 2, I'm up before everybody else, so I'm literally alone, and it's the best feeling ever. It's not something I get often here, no offense to you guys, but it's just so nice to have that alone time as a mom. Other moms, I know you understand.
I didn't set the tone.
Okay, what are you going to do this week?
Well, I'm gonna make sure my phone doesn't consume me from start to finish each day. But I'm working on my bedtime routine is what's gonna set up my morning routine. So setting the tone is actually gonna start with my evening routine. So everything I said before, from there, I want to get back into the first thing I do. I have to grab my phone for this, but meditate. I use a guided app, the Waking Up app. Sometimes I do it on my own, but a lot of times I follow that. So my tone setter is gonna be that. And taking a walk. I think I'm gonna steal yours.
Steal me for your walk?
Steal you for my walk.
Alright, list habits 1, 2, and 3 in order. We already went over these in the last video, so you guys can go back and check out those. What would you most like to accomplish this week? For me, it was to dial in my habits. So dial in habits 1 and 3. That will just kind of flow into everything else.
Quality sleep and start waking up earlier. I felt my best when I was waking up before the sun, and that was because I had to, because I was working 12 hours a day and I had to lift before that, so I was literally training at 4:30 in the morning. And while that sucked, I did love waking up before everybody else, before the sun was up. Everything is slower, and I want to get back to that. How would you rate your adherence for this week? 1 being poor, 10 being spot on.
I would say an 8 overall. How about you?
I was a 7.
So we clearly have room for improvement, but starting off pretty strong. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. I know this was another sit-down video, and I said they weren't gonna all be like that. Next week we are doing our meal prep video, which will include a little grocery haul, meal prep, and what that looks like here at my parents' house, as well as just talking about some basic, you know, cooking things and tips that we've learned over the years. So you can expect that next week. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.